Hello, dear friends. Myself, Dr. K. N. Gaikwad, Department of Botany, KTHM College, Nasik. Title of our paper, Botany paper first, Plant Anatomy and Embryology. Last time we have completed Megasporangium and female gametophyte. Now, today we are going to learn chapter number 9 as per our syllabus, pollination and fertilization. Under that, we have to study different types of pollination, germination, and entry of pollen tube. The process of pollination describes the vital means of sexual reproduction in plants. Flowering plants have several parts that are important in pollination. Flowers have male organs called stamens and produce a sticky powder called the pollen grains. Female part is called pistil. The top end of pistil is called stigma and is often sticky. The pollen contains the male gamete of the plant. The pollen is transferred from the anther where it is produced to the stigma where it germinates, forming a pollen tube. The pollen tube then transfers the male gametes to the female gametes which is contained inside the ovule. Once the sperm reaches the egg cell, it fuses it with to form the zygote and fertilization takes place. When pollen grains are discharged from anthers, they show considerable resistance to the environmental condition up to fertilization. In gymnosperm, pollen grains are usually comes in contact with the macropyle or nucellus. Now let us see first of all the definition of pollination. The process of transfer of pollen grains from an anther to the stigma of flower is called pollination. The pollen may be transferred from the anther to the stigma of the same flower or different flowers. On the basis of this point, there are two types of the pollination, self-pollination and cross-pollination. Let us first of all see self-pollination. When the pollen grains are transferred from an anther to the stigma of the same flower, the process is called self-pollination. For example, Argemone mexicana, Mirabilis jalapa. Self-pollination is also known as homogamy or autogamy. The outcome of self-pollination is a reduction of genetic diversity. This is because the sperm and egg cells of the same flower are genetically identical. Second type of pollination is nothing but the cross-pollination. When the pollen grains are transferred from an anther of one flower to the stigma of another flower born on a plant of the same or different species. This process is called cross-pollination. Example, Michelia champaka. Cross-pollination is also known as allogamy. The outcome of cross-pollination is an increase in genetic diversity. This is because the sperm and egg cells are from different flowers and therefore they have different genetic information. Flowers that are self-pollinated and can produce viable seeds are self-compatible. Flowers that are self-pollinated but the pollen does not function properly on the carpels of the same plant are termed as self-incompatible. Now next point is mechanism of pollination. For pollination to occur, the pollen must be transferred from anther to the stigma of the same or different flowers. Pollination occurs in several ways. There are several agents in the environment that flowering plants utilize to transfer pollen grains from the flower to the another. This includes the wind, water, insect, birds, animals, etc. The first type of the mechanism of pollination is called anemophily. It is also called anemogamy. Wind is the common mechanism of pollination used to transfer pollen to the long distances. Pollination with the help of wind is called anemophily or anemogamy. Plants that are pollinated by wind are often found in large population as these increase the chances of pollen grain to be deposited on flower of the same species. The anemophilous plants have long stamens and pistils. They produce enormous amount of small light and non-sticky pollen grains, and the stigma is usually large and feathery, which helps to capture the pollen grains. Simply we can say that the pollination which is caused by the wind is called anemophily. Second type is nothing but the hydrophily. It is a rare phenomenon in which pollination takes place through the water. Hydros means water. In this mechanism, the pollen grain is passively carried out to other flower by water currents is called hydrophily. There are two subtypes of hydrophily, hypohydrogamy and epihydrogamy. Hypohydrogamy means when the pollination takes place inside water, called hypohydrogamy. Examples, Naja species, Ceratophyllum, etc. Epihydrogamy means when pollination takes place on the surface of water, it is called epihydrogamy. For example, Vallisneria. Third type of mechanism is nothing but the zoophilia, or it is also called zoogamy. When pollination takes place with the help of animals, is called zoophily. Zoophilous plants exhibit a great variety in size, shape, arrangement, and their color. It is subdivided into again four types, that is entomophily, malacophily, ornithophily, chiropterophily. Let us see first of all entomophily. When pollination takes place with the help of insect is called entomophily. When pollination takes place with the help of insect, it is called entomophily. The common insect pollinators include bees, flies, moths, butterfly, beetle, etc. Approximately 80% of pollination brought about by this method or by the insect. And out of that insect, bees play important role for the pollination. The sensitivity of bees to ultraviolet enables them to follow nectar guide patterns. Fragrance may act as decisive factor in establishing the association of an insect with a particular species of the flower as long as it is abundantly available. The entomophilous plants have special characters such as bright color, special pattern, and fragrance to attract the insects. The pollen grains of these flowers are sticky and spiny, ensuring their adherence to the bodies of the bees. The floral pattern of this flower permit only one pollination visit. Second type of zoophily, subtype malacophily. When pollination takes place with the help of other animals like slugs, snails, squirrels, etc., it is called malacophily. In Apsitra lunida flower, open at the soil level, the stigma is flat and blocks the mouth of the perianth. This condition is best suited for malacophily. Third type of zoophily is ornithophily, or it is called ornithogamy. When pollination takes place with the help of birds is called ornithophily. Common pollinating birds are hummingbirds and honey thrushes. The ornithophilous plant includes species of Protea, Margravia, Ravenala, Phyllanthus, Hibiscus, Erythrina, etc. Ornithophilous plants have bright color red, orange or yellow corolla and stamens which are attractive to the birds. They do not produce fragrant flower but provide a large amount of nectar as reward for the bird pollinators. Next type of zoophilia, it is called chiropterophily or chiropterogamy. When pollination takes place with the help of bats is called chiroptophily. The flowers of Bonia megalandra and Euphoria falcata are visited by bats at night. The bats have sharp snout and long extensible tongues for picking up a sticky mixture of nectar and pollen. Characteristic feature of flower includes drab color, large size, sturdiness, bell shape with wide mouth and powerful rancid smell. In this way, we have seen there are four types of zoogamy: entomophily, malacophily, ornithophily, and chiropterophily. Now, next point of this topic: germination of pollen grain. The fusion of male and female gametes during sexual reproduction to form a zygote which develops into an embryo. It is known as fertilization. When pollen grains land on the surface of stigma of the same flower or different flower of the same species, it rehydrates. Pollen grains usually germinate on the stigma of the same species. In case of foreign pollen grains, stigma produces poisonous substances or may become dry. The time required for germination of pollen grain on the stigma varies from plant to plant. For example, in Sorghum vulgare and Saccharum officinarum, it germinates within a minute. In Giames, it germinates in 5 minutes. In Vita vulgaris, it germinates in 2 hours. While in Caripa elliptica, it germinates within 2 days. Pollen grains are contained within a unique pollen wall, which can be divided into 3 layers: an outer exine wall interrupted by opening called aperture, an inner intine and pollen coat. The germination of pollen tube results in the formation of the pollen tube. Pollen tube is produced from intine and comes out through the germ pore. Most of the pollen grains are monocyponous, that is, only one germ tube is produced during germination. But however, in some plant from family Malvaceae and Cucurbitaceae, they are polycyponous. That means one of the embryologist Steiner in 1925 reported about 14 pollen tubes are developed in Malva niglicta. In some cases, same pollen tube shows ramification. That is, branching is also occur. For example, acacia. Pollen tube. Pollen tube grows out of the pollen grain through the stigma, down the style, and finally enters the ovary to approach the ovule. The male nuclei travel down to fertilize the ovule, resulting in seed formation. The length of pollen tube depends upon the length of style. It is very short if the stigma is sessile, while it is very long if the style is long. In Giames, pollen tubes about 50 cm is recorded and it is called silk. On the basis of presence of pollen grain, presence of transmitting tissue, one of the embryologists that is Hun, in 1935 classifies styles into three types. That is open style, half closed style, and closed style. Next point is that growth of tube or entry of pollen tube. There are so many factors responsible for the growth of the tube, pollen tube. First of all, environmental factors. Amongst all environmental factors, temperature plays a vital role. Embryologists observed that in warm, moist air and bright sunshine, the pollen tube of crocus were seen in macropyle within 24 hours. But in dry and cool weather, they took twice or thrice the time. Smith, 1935, reported that in Lycopersicum esculentum, the maximum growth of pollen tube occurs at 21 degrees Celsius temperature. Second factor is that compatibility. Compatibility between gamotype and the style, sporophytic tissue also affect the rate of growth of pollen tube. In compatible species, the rate of growth is rapid, while in case of incompatible species, rate of growth is extremely poor. Now in this slide, there are the entry of pollen tubes. Pollen tube enters the ovule by three mechanisms. First one, porogamy, chalazogamy, and mesogamy. Now these are the integuments. At the center, you will get here embryo sac. This is the small opening of ovule. It is called macropyle, and these are the pollen tubes. First of all, porogamy. When pollen tube enters the ovule directly through the macropyle, then the mode of pollen entry is called porogamy. Most of the angiospermic plant shows this type of the mechanism. Second figure represents the chalazogamy. When pollen tube enters through the chalaza, this is the chalazal point, funiculus, integument, nucellus, and embryo sac. And pollen tube, after germination through the style, comes in contact first of all the chalaza, and through the side of embryo sac, it becomes bridges to the macropyle end. Third one, mesogamy. When pollen tube enters the ovule directly through funiculus or integument, this entry is called mesogamy. In this way, in angiospermic plant, the pollen tube enters by the three mechanisms: porogamy, chalazogamy, and mesogamy. Next point, as per our syllabus, mechanism of fertilization. This diagram shows the discharge of pollen or male gametes or sperm through the synergies and comes in contact to the egg cell. When male gametes are discharged inside the embryo sac, they have distinct cytoplasmic sheath. However, earlier it was assumed to be only male nuclei without cytoplasmic sheath. The two male gametes were found to be unequal size in vinca, and suggested that it is difficult to understand whether the smaller fuses with egg or larger fuses with the egg. Now in this diagram, there are the egg cell is there, and these are the two sperms. Sperms are small in size and they are mostly unequal. Cadry, one of the embryologists, studied male gametes of cardiospermum and reported that male gametes fusing with an egg has a blunt posterior end and circular pointed anterior end. When male gametes enter and comes in contact to the egg cell, there are the two male gametes are there, and this is the egg cell. They are the polar nuclei. When this male gametes comes in contact to the female gamete or female egg, it appears like thread rolled into ball. The male gametes later uncoil and lies on the surface of egg nucleus. The male gamete gradually unites with the female completely. Once it enters the egg, the chromatin material of male gametes starts disintegrating. Simultaneously, nucleus of male gamete begins to appear. Slowly, this nucleolus enlarges in size and chromatin material slowly become porous, while chromatin material of egg nucleus become distinct. Finally, the nucleolus of male and female gametes comes together and fuses. The second male gamete combined with secondary nucleus to form primary endosperm cell. Out of two male gametes, one gamete becomes fused with the polar nuclei, and that results into the formation of the primary endosperm cell by the same method. However, this required for the fusion is less. Fusion of male gamete with secondary nucleus is known as double fertilization, and that results into the mechanism triple fusion. Now let us see what is double fertilization. According to N.G. Navasin in 1898 was first to suggest that both the sperms released by the pollen tube are involved in the fertilization. They fertilize two different elements of embryo sac. The phenomenon is called double fertilization. Double fertilization phenomenon is very common or unique in angiosperm. It is absent in gymnosperm. In double fertilization, the nucleus of the sperm fuses with the egg nucleus. It is called syngamy, and that second nucleus fuses with the secondary nuclei. That results into the formation of the triple endosperm. In most of the plant, this secondary nucleus possesses two polar nuclei. Further, the second fertilization involves fusion of three nuclei. That results into the formation of the endosperm, and that endosperm is triploid. That's why this phenomenon is called triple fusion. After fusion of one of the male gamete and egg nucleus, one male gamete is still present. This meaning the male gamete fuses with the secondary nucleus. The secondary nucleus is diploid because it formed by the migration of one nucleus from upper side and one nucleus from lower side, from the embryo sac. In they are called polar nuclei. And this two polar nuclei fuses with the male gamete or sperm. This diploid structure is called secondary nucleus. One male gamete is haploid, and this is the diploid secondary nucleus. The fusion of male gamete and secondary nucleus that results into the formation of the 3N, that means triploid condition, and hence this is called triple fusion. The triple fusion results in the formation of the endosperm. In the endosperm is nutritive tissue in angiosperm. They provide nutrition to the embryo during the early stages of development, that is from zygote to globular embryo. Now let us see lastly what is the significance of triple fusion or double fertilization. Now these are the diagram of double fertilization. Triple endosperm and diploid zygote is nothing but the result of the fertilization. Here in this diagram, release of the sperm, one sperm fused with the secondary nucleus which is already diploid, and one sperm is haploid. That's why it becomes results into the formation of the triple fusion or triploid endosperm. And zygote is nothing but the result of fusion of male and the female gamete. Let us see significance. Double fertilization process plays an significant role in the formation of seed in angiospermic plant. This process results into production of zygote and primary endosperm nucleus. The nutritive tissue, the endosperm, is formed from the fertilized polar nuclei. Double fertilization process plays significant role in the formation of the seed. The endosperm formed due to double fertilization is triploid. Therefore, it is metabolically very active and reserve more nutrient to supply nourishment to the embryo. Double fertilization prevents the unnecessary waste of energy by the plant. This endosperm provides nourishment to the developing embryo as well as serve as reserve food for the maintenance of the embryo during resting or dormancy period, as well as it provides nourishment to the germinating embryo. Hence, double fertilization has great significance in inducing and establishing seed habit in the plant. In this way, in this topic, that is pollination and fertilization, we have seen some important point. What is pollination? Different types of pollination, different agents of the pollination, entry of pollen tube, and double fertilization. Now, at the last of this topic, there are some questions are there. Define pollination, define fertilization, what is triple fission, what is double fertilization. Fifth question is that write short note on entomophily, hydrophily, zoophily, and significance of double fertilization. Thank you.